Saying it's a crazy time. You can't afford not to like black people. You don't like black people enough, you could become one yourself. I'm not the only black.
NBC has received confirmation from PN that it is ending its relationship with NFL commentator Shannon Sharpe. Someone is chasing after Sharpe. Of course, a lawsuit alleging sexual assault and abuse against the Hall of Fame. Tight end was settled.
Yeah. That'll do what you want.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me I'm independent. I pay my bills. I pay the cost to be the boss. You the boss by yourself. Very grateful for that, but I just wish the ball thing. Like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that. But I just wish, guys, this thing could have waited until Monday.
In a sense, Katt Williams isn't holding back. He recently lost it on Shannon Sharpe and is violent. After Shannon was sacked by ESPN, Katt didn't feel sorry for him. He basically said, "How are you going to give everybody advice and then fall for the oldest trick in the book?" In a massive $50 million lawsuit, Shannon just negotiated a settlement with Gabriella Janica, a former OnlyFans model. ESPN then dropped him like a hot potato. Things start to go crazy at this point. Katt had warned him. On Club Shay Shay, Katt stood up to Shannon head-on and warned him that meddling with certain women could destroy his career.
But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take you.
In addition, Monique co-signed that and provided some sage dating tips. But Shannon brushed it off and continued working.
I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
Are you trying to say what you trying to say?
I'm looking right at you. I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Look at his landing, too. Unemployed, humiliated, and writing a check for a mansion. Instead of being smart, Shannon was forced to make the headlines, lose his job, and pay a large settlement. ESPN is no longer interested in collaborating with him. Let's face it, what major network wants to touch a guy whose biggest story is tied to a complicated lawsuit? Shannon's close pals claim that Katt lacks empathy. One insider claims that Katt had the inside scoop long before the scandal started. He knew Shannon was talking to Gabriella and had foreseen the whole thing. Shannon appeared to be talking about the Jonathan Major incident, but Katt called him out without naming him.
I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Major.
Come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter, so I stayed away from that.
You see Jonathan Major, what he went through, Marvel dropped him as soon as the conviction came out, and you were telling the
Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you, coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting all four. Guilty. She came in there, was just so beautiful, they had to knock half of it.
All that does is illustrate it. Katt never lies, even if he jokes around. Because he didn't listen, Shannon is now suffering. Shannon's idea that a deal with Gabriella would resolve the matter and save his ESPN contract was the most ridiculous part. But even after he wrote that, check, ESPN still ended the contract. Here's the deal though, one day after the settlement was announced, Gabriella departed from OnlyFans. "Today, I have decided to retire from OnlyFans," she posted on Instagram. "I appreciate all of your wonderful assistance for the past few years. The life that this community has provided me is beyond my wildest expectations. I'm thrilled to share some new projects that I'm working on in addition to staying active on social media. I'm eager for this next stage." In fact, Shannon gave her the most flexible retirement plan possible. She never came back to that app set. Gabriella felt rich from dealing with the gaudy man in his 50s who thought he could play the game effectively. But fans aren't sympathetic to Shannon. They're dragging him to and fro. Not just for being exploited, but also for the hypocrisy involved. This is the same person who said he would not spend more than $30,000 on his own daughter's wedding. But, according to the leaked text, Gabriella was charging him $25,000 each night for each motel sheet. One member on X said that it had to happen in order to expose Shannon's hypocrisy. He had lost what little respect he had. He's currently out here giving millions to a former employee. but merely meant to provide $30,000 toward his daughter's wedding. Shannon Sharpe has done a lot of wrong things, but hearing that he was frugal with his daughter's wedding made me really side-eye that country bumpkin, a different person said. You lost more money because of that young white girl who believed you were a lick. How foolish was that? Even worse, after Shannon gave Gabriella those millions, ESPN didn't issue a comment. Not one, when requested to provide a statement by People Magazine. ESPN responded, nope. They didn't want to be involved. How did Shannon respond? He eventually made an appearance on the Nightcap podcast on July 30th. He tried to seem calm by saying he was pleased with ESPN's selection. Insiders claimed that he begged them not to disturb him. Nevertheless, things became much more frantic behind the scenes. Shannon Sharpe begged PN not to disclose his termination until after his older brother, Sterling Sharpe, was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shannon knew that the lawsuit and the sudden ESPN cut would overshadow Sterling's moment. He even apologized to him for stealing the show. But Disney and ESPN were completely unconcerned. Without hesitation, they proceeded after silencing him. Things start to get a little crazy at this point. Shannon was this close to getting a $100 million contract when the case became viral.
I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week, and really the only thing that I really ask is, like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really want it to be about him, and I want it to be about my family. I know this coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so, as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm going to love you regardless. We all make mistakes. And he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You're done with it too. Move on. And I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow. They saw me, Lakers in 5, and they saw me say all these analogies that my grandparents gave me, and I was able to bring that to ESPN. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But I just wished, of all things, like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that. But I just wish, guys, this thing could have waited until Monday, because I hate the fact that I'm overshadowing my brother, the first two brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is what the headline is going to be for the next couple of days. So, bro, again, I know you told me this, I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this manner. That was never my intent. You've been my hero. You've been my role model from as long as I can remember. And I apologize, and I thank all my fans for supporting me when I was at ESPN and every place that I've been, be it Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Undisputed, ESPN.
Negotiations for a huge podcast deal that would have linked all of his media activities had progressed. Club Shay Shay, Nightcap with Chad Johnson, Club 520, The Bubba Dub Show, and Humble Baddies. After that deal, he was going to be a media mogul. In fact, only 3 days before Gabriella's bombshell lawsuit, Front Office Sports claimed that Shannon was expected to sign contract worth over $100 million. But that offer isn't accessible anymore. Poof, ESPN released him. All of a sudden, Shannon's chance to work with Disneyland platforms ABC, Hulu, and ESPN is gone. A public humiliation this loud and messy is almost impossible to recover from, especially in corporate media. When he decided to tamper with a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, his entire media empire was ruined before it had ever started. As previously warned by Katt Williams, nobody feels sorry for Shannon. He had everything. For what did he sacrifice? Power, fortune, and influence? Let's be truthful. This had no setup or storyline. Despite having all the warning flags in front of him, Shannon hurried right into trouble. The $100 million dream is over. That gleaming ESPN seat was vacant, and his photo was dragged onto the floor. What do you think, though? Is Shannon's reckless behavior all her fault? Or should ESPN have given him another chance? And how do you feel about his sending a big check to an OnlyFans model while telling his own daughter to stick to a $30,000 wedding budget? Let's talk about it in the comments. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share for the real breakdowns you won't find anywhere else. And I'll see you at the next.